Okay, we're back, and latency should. Oh God, sorry, should be better now. And what we're doing today is we are debating the real Maga world, and how we are doing that is we are joining up a Discord call through the conservative politics, election, news, and debate Discord server, where there are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 MAGA supporters in here today in the serious/debate category and group chat. So I'm going to undeafen, and we'll kind of just pop in through their conversation, and we'll just get into the swing of things. Obviously, we're not fully involved with the conversation, so it might take a minute to start up, but we will get it going and really get into the minds of what they are thinking and why their delusions are so high. So here we go. Undeafening.
The spread, it's shadow banning, basically. Like, we want terrorists to weed out their content, but really it's only going to be seen by their followers and people who explicitly follow them, and but it's not going to have general reach through the algorithm. And so basically they're going to be shouting into a vacuum. And they also used it to track like networks, so they'd actually like look at they'd assign like a hash value to images of like terrorism content, like a terrorist flag.
All right, this guy is just talking about terror supply right now, currently. Also, I do want to mention, if you join the live and you want to debate one-on-one, we can do that. I can leave this call for a little bit, and we can debate one-on-one on why you support Donald Trump. You do have to be a Trump supporter because, what will we debate about if you do not support Trump? If you support Trump, I would love to talk to you and love to get to know your delusions. So, yeah, just putting that out there. If you join the live and want to debate me personally, you can drop your Discord in the chat and we can talk one-on-one.
Tech companies are in on it, like Google, YouTube, MailChimp, Experian, like credit companies. It's fucking wild what they built, and no one has talked about it. It reminds me of like everyone was screaming about woke, and I was screaming about Wikipedia. And I was like, it's actually really mad. Like, okay, it sucks they're censoring YouTube, but they've actually silently taken over Wikipedia. And then of course they had that alliance between YouTube and Wikipedia. But that's huge, right? Control of the fucking encyclopedias.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm always like slightly off track from the right.
May I ask, who are you like directing, saying it's taking over Wikipedia and YouTube? Just wondering. I just joined.
Oh, so like Wikipedia, like 10 years ago, really started. Right before the Trump election, or right after it, really started going like hard left. Like, I never noticed problems on Wikipedia. Like, they were like liberals. Maybe you had like edit board with personalities, but like, I had like a very modest project that I was going to start contributing to Wikipedia in the arena of like left-wing intellectual terrorists supporters, or
What?
really extremism. And they started fucking banning my accounts, and I was like saying shit that was true, and they were banning me. And I looked into it, and they were getting money from like the Open Society Foundation and like Google. Like, really, the Wikimedia Foundation got.
I believe that.
By a bunch of NGOs basically captured Wikimedia, and they gave it $5 million grant type things. And yeah, Google was a big part of it, but a bunch of them, and this is all national security stuff. Like, these are related to the security state, and a lot of these edits are from the government.
Are you primarily talking about like Wikipedia pages? Like political like Wikipedia pages, like.
Yeah. So Wikipedia is run under the Wikimedia Foundation, which has like a bunch of different stuff. Like, their image content is slightly different than their encyclopedia. and then they do other stuff somehow. I don't know, like research and kind of stuff. But yeah, so I'm talking about the Wikimedia Foundation, which was run by Catherine Meyer, who before she went to NPR. So under her, it became really political. She was like a left-wing goon.
Well, I mean, I guess I see where you're coming from as Wikipedia and run by Wikimedia is based on like left wing beliefs, but do you think it's left wing, left wing biased or just just morality?
I mean, it's totalitarian and bias. Like you have pages like the Evergreen University where they remember that Brett, what is his name? They chased him off campus with pitchforks, and they made everyone sit around in an equity canoe. I was trying to add some stuff just to the page about that because you might be a young like because my perspective was I was sort of default left wing opinions. I grew up in New York City. I'm metaphysically conservative by nature, but I was surrounded by left wing views, so I was kind of a default liberal. And then I went to college and I was surrounded by like fucking extremists. And no one told me that like if I went to, Columbia, Susan Sontag would be running the writing department and I'd be surrounded by a bunch of people who thought that whiteness was cancer and that the school would be hiring like a woman who was a literal fucking Maoist terrorist who killed 3 New York City police officers. That would be like one of my teachers. Like no one told me this. So I was just like, I'll just put this on Wikipedia so people know what they're getting into. So trying to put stuff on the Evergreen page of like just shit that happened. Like, I mean, you could change the wording of it to be more neutral, but like they even in the most neutral sense, they would not. They'd be like, this isn't newsworthy. It's really bad. They have like a controlled sources list, so you have to be one of these like 40 or 50 sources, and they're all left wing. They'll take news from NBC, but they won't take political news from Fox News. They'll take the weather from Fox News, but they won't take politics from Fox. But they think ABC is good.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, it's like permanent approved sources, and then the soul of the site is they have about 1,000 administrators, and they're like their little mods. But only like a couple hundred of them do actual like arbitration between disputes between editors, and then of the couple hundred, there's only a few very active ones in English, in politics. So it's really like they're like, oh, anyone can edit it, but if there's ever a dispute, it's really there's only like 30 people who control what gets said.
Yeah, it seems more like a majority kind of decision of if what you're saying is, either a hate speech or whatever you're putting out there and putting on these pages is, they
No,
can take it down.
Yeah, I
no,
think the
it's not.
tools can be misused. OnlyFans in a 2022 subpoena revealed that OnlyFans misused Meta's GIFCT tools to flag competitors' content on Instagram. That's kind of funny, like a company's like, oh, we're gonna label their content as terrorism. And it was just trying to have like porn posts removed. And they were removing them. So I mean, like, can anyone misuse the tools?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's a
On
good
some of
point,
it,
but that's
yeah.
being used in an actual viable source. I mean, I would assume that a lot of social media would not want OnlyFans being promoted or porn being
No.
promoted, and
So
that's
listen, OnlyFans was using it to flag their competitors. So say you tweet on Twitter once a week, like, hey, I just released from meslut.com. Come visit meslut.com.
Yeah.
They were flagging the competitors, but OnlyFans they were not flagging. They were not flagging girls who had content on OnlyFans. So the people on Twitter who were like, "Here's a picture of my titty," obviously Twitter would want that like blurred out, sensitive content labeled, but they were not reaching anybody. They were just tweeting to themselves, and they're these whores. Their sales went to zero, and they said, "Fuck, I'm making no money. I've got to like delete my website and start working for OnlyFans."
Well,
And so
it's
they
because
did.
OnlyFans has a bunch of fucking lawyers that are capable of handling it.
People were using a tool to remove terrorist posts that weren't terrorist posts.
Yeah.
So people were just misusing the tool. And
Well, it's a part of it, right? So the whole thing
removing-
is you have a limited
Whatever.
group of people who are
Please.
inside of the group that handles moderation, right? So if I see something from a post that has 0 followers, fucking 3 posts, no likes, and I get a post that like, hey, they posted 90 terrorist things, that person's gonna be like, probably, and just click and like, yes, okay, delete, right? Or opposed to like you have someone who's like, they have an OnlyFans, they have a big following.
I'm trying to find more talk around just a general kind of political talk more than OnlyFans morality, which in my defense, I mean, morally it just kind of tells you who runs these type of things. I mean, who runs Twitter? Elon Musk. Who runs Meta? Mark Zuckerberg. And it kind of just all encapsulates back into one thing of, I mean, who really runs this stuff? But let's join another chat and see what other people are talking about. And if the other ones suck, we can always go back and see what everybody else is talking about. But again, if you join up, make sure if you are a Trump supporter to put in the chat if you want to debate me one-on-one.
Well, they were all told off because afterwards they were sort of like, "Oh, I'm so happy to have supported England and be part of the England team, and I love this country," and this kind of stuff. And there's all the people going, all the politicians are going, "Oh shit, you shouldn't be saying that. We're trying to push this whole multicultural bollocks." And it's like,
I love my
they all-
country. How racist of you.
I know. Oh, it's almost like all these opportunities they've had, they're appreciating. It's like, it was quite funny watching the reactions of them afterwards, trying to sort of like talk down it. It's like, oh, why are you talking down? Your team's just won the fucking competition, But unfortunately, there's that kind of split in general. That's why I felt like the Colin Kaepernick stuff was really bad, because it brought a lot of people to bring attention to it. Who probably aren't really interested in the sport, but they're just going to throw shit.
Oh
at
yeah,
it.
yeah. I remember, like I said, he was a fan of my team. So even comparatively to most NFL fans, that had to suffer.
This is not. It gets heated at night, trust. It gets way more fun at night. I wish I did this a little bit later, but I'm going out a little bit later. So if we don't get anything interesting, then we can always... There's another one.
No chance, right? So 0 times is still 0.
Okay, wait. So again, I'm not saying that Taiwan right now has a high chance. I'm saying if you are looking at the variable between whether they are centralized or whether they are not, the one that is going to be more effective will be if they are decentralized. And I've already cited examples.
There's a variety of factors that go into it. A decentralized like revolution typically has more passion behind it, so you're going to have a less morale loss from there's all kinds of things, but you could have that in a centralized government too. You look at
not as much, not at the same rate at all, because a centralized government has to draft people, which morale is not good when you draft people and force them to go to war.
It depends.
Right?
It depends. You look at the Red Army in World War II, they were the most centralized government, and they had massive unity and took massive losses and still were victorious, right?
And they couldn't stop.
Didn't mean it was morality, right? Though,
which the Black Army was a decentralized force that had much more morality, because they were a decentralized force. But my argument isn't that a centralized force can't be moral. Obviously, like like in the case you just brought up, of course, like there could be a national unity, but I'm saying in comparison to a decentralized force, it's night and day. It's night and day what the morality is, or what the morale is.
I think it's kind of just a byproduct, or it's kind of unrelated. I don't think they're like correlative, really at all.
Jose, do you want to talk? I mean, do you think, is mommy cooking hot pockets for you? You seem like you're aggravated. I don't know. I mean, I don't have hot pockets right now, but I probably could go buy some if I wanted to get in my car and go buy some. But you seem a little bit pressed by either the title or what I'm saying. Do you perchance want to have a conversation to get some of your anger out? that MAGA anger. I'm not assuming you're MAGA. I'm just... You look like someone he wants to deport, Josie. What? What's that even mean? You look like someone he wants to deport. Tell me, are you MAGA host? Tell me. You seem pretty upset right now. I'm just trying to get answers out. I'll wait. Wow, look at all the people here. So you did just see the title and just kind of presume like, oh, I'm gonna just make fun of this dude. We can have a conversation. Like I said, I want to conversate with whatever is upsetting you right now. Jose, please respond. I'm going to give it 20 seconds for you to respond, and if you don't, we'll move on. Alrighty then. Looks like Jose does not want to debate me. Or say anything, not even just debate. Looks like he shut his mouth or left the chat. Either one could have passed, but let's get back into what we were doing. I am fighting the flu right now, so if I cough, my apologies.
Is that, all states are consolidated and incorporated under the federal government.
The federal government.
Meaning that,
they don't have to follow. They don't have to follow their rights and actions.
Look, there's a significant difference.
No, they absolutely. If the federal government is
help.
looking to do something, is looking to conduct law enforcement in a particular state, the state is obligated to support the federal government in those efforts.
No, this has gone to Supreme Court. This has gone to court multiple times. Through sanctuary series, that's not true.
Not responding to people getting shot in your city, like they.
Yeah,
from a civil,
no, and as soon as they were shot, they activated, right? So they were asked to help before any shooting happened. They said no. Once the shooting happened, they mobilized. I believe it was 18.
I sent you the
units.
proof, filthy here.
They want to help. They just want.
I'm not sure if he's right or wrong, so that's why I'm being kind of careful with this one. I don't know that that's the way it went down.
Yeah, on this situation.
Well, it says right now. I'm reading the actual dispatch note. It says CS caller is one of approximately 30 armed Border Patrol agents who are being surrounded by a large crowd of people requesting CPD. Chief of Patrol responded, no units will respond to this as related from, and then there's some codes that I don't understand.
Yeah.
But it's written in on the somebody leaked the dispatcher screen where they were told not to.
So
respond.
that goes directly in the face of what you're saying. You're saying that they activated to pursue the assailants, and we have evidence here that indicates
not
that they
evidence
were
that they didn't.
instructed even under
What
fire.
do you mean the video
not
isn't
to
evidence?
fall.
The video is clearly evidence.
No,
No,
I think what I'm saying is they
say
called
under fire.
beforehand, before anything bad happened. They called and said, "Hey, we're being surrounded. We need help. It's getting out of hand." They were told no, and then somebody rammed a vehicle into them and got out brandishing a firearm, and they had to shoot.
There. And everybody, it wasn't just the Giants. Everybody was rooting against the Patriots, and they won. They got what they wanted. The Patriots fell on their face again. They lost to the Giants again, and everybody still has a laugh about that.
I just remember everybody.
Come in full force.
Someone's breaking into my house. Call us back
they-
when they actually steal something.
Yeah, imagine
There's
if
no requirement.
imagine if
I mean-
Trump, right? Hold on, guys. Imagine if Trump
Went to
had
the
a
Epstein
motorcade
Island?
going through Chicago, right? Let's say he had a motorcade going through Chicago, and Chicago PD said, "Yeah, I'm sorry, we're not going to assist with establishing a motorcade for you unless you get shot at." I mean, that would just be
They
totally
have the legal
ridiculous.
right to do so, right? That's literally why the Secret Service was invented, is because states didn't have the right. It was
That's
after
not
the Civil
why.
War.
That's actually
That's
not
not
why. The
why.
Secret Service initially went after money fraud.
Yes, I'm saying why it was brought into the presidential field of protection, right? Is because after the Civil War, after all these things, Texas pulling their bullshit, people were like, okay, well, states do have individual rights. We're going to establish these. And the question came up of, hey, well, do they have the right to reject protection to the president? And the answer was yes, resoundingly. And they said, well, okay, the president should have a federal board that protects and serves him and his people, right? So most states, I say most states, every state will provide individuals, right? Because if something happens under their watch, whatever, it brings up a bunch of extra bullshit.
I just
There's no
looked up.
requirement.
I just
Yeah, but
looked
that
up.
still
Do states
seems
have
like
the right to reject protecting the United? Can you cite the specific case you're referring to?
It's not a case. It's a legal study, but yeah, I can send it off.
Wait.
Still,
Well,
that still
What-
seems
What?
like
What?
I didn't-
What time period was that?
Assistant Homeland
I'm
Secretary said
not
that they
1986. I can look it up, but
1986.
Federal-
how's that
So-
not indirectly promoting violence and crime?
Yeah.
the complaint right now is that they're
Just like he said, those Secret Service isn't primarily to prevent from the president getting shot.
They're
It's
saying
not
after
primary,
the
that's-
crime, after the crime occurred, they failed to assist in securing the
they
area.
did. They did in fact help after a crime occurred.
Right, but then look, the Assistant Homeland Secretary, whatever, Tricia McLaughlin, whatever her fucking name is, says, first they
Okay.
said they did not help us, refuses to assist us in securing the area. So that means maybe they came, but they left immediately, or they were to stand
I
out.
can't believe we're
I
even
have-
arguing this. That they don't have an
I have
obligation to go and support federal agents who are being surrounded.
They
Like,
legally
I can't
don't.
believe.
Illegally, he's not
Yeah,
wrong.
legally,
He's
but who gives a
wrong.
fuck if it's
No, he is
legally or
wrong.
not?
Hold on.
It's
He's
just
actually,
morally
he's
or-
actually wrong on this. Hold on. So I did some googling. So there is a federal. So there's two parts to this. So for starters, hold on. Let me find the first part.
I have a broadcast.
So federal and state courts, including the Supreme Court, have consistently rejected the theory of nullification, which claims that states can invalidate federal laws. And then there is a federal
They're not
clause.
invalidating the federal clause.
Hold on. They absolutely are. You didn't even let me read it. So
All right, go ahead, read
there's
it.
two parts. So 18 U.S.C. 1751, known as the Presidential Assassination Statute, it makes threats against the president and successors to the presidency a federal crime. And then there's 1752, which the law protects the president and other protectees by penalizing anyone who, without authority, enters a protected
everyone
zone.
that's a successor to the president. That's a very interesting law, just because obviously the president, vice president, but like the Speaker of the House and the head of Agriculture secretary.
They don't only watch after They don't only watch
I'm
after
sure.
the president.
I'm sure there's something that enumerates.
Yeah.
you
So
know,
the enumeration.
So
is
anyway,
the
so the point
immediate
is,
killer.
or enumerates how far down the list that goes.
It's
But in
just
general,
awful.
in general, you can't actually make any sort of, threat of harm against another person. That is a criminal offense. So,
Right.
you know,
the
and,
question is
then on
whether or
top of that,
not-
there's an even higher bar, you know, if you're doing it against someone who is in the direct, I guess, lineage of power in this country, right? So, but the point that stands is that your point about states having the right to refuse protecting the president is wrong. It's fundamentally
I'm
wrong.
not talking about the current state. I'm talking about
You-
why the current laws came up.
You just
So
said
what I
it.
was talking about
No.
the current state-
That's not
don't
true at
tell me
all.
what
You
don't tell me what
you-
I just said. And if I did say it, I misspoke. Let me clarify myself. Okay. Part of the reason why that states went out is the fact that federal agents could not determine how states perform security. Right? There could be some level of like, oh, you need to provide protection. They have one dude with a fucking pistol. Like, here's your protection. Right? And that's where a lot of this came from. The whole point is, and we've seen it in court time and time again with sanctuary cities, there's no requirement for police officers or the state itself to support federal actions.
So, breaking news, just to interject here. Donald Trump has ordered 300 National Guard troops to Chicago.
Currently, right now?
Is that where this is happening
Yeah.
in Chicago?
That was
It's in
eight. That
Chicago.
was 8 minutes ago. Posted.
They need to be
Hold on,
playing
hold
the
on, hold on,
March
hold
on the
on,
Jedi
hold on.
Temple theme.
so
That's
here's
the-
the thing. So
This is
actually,
probably
Where-
in response to what
Is
happened
this
earlier.
is this true social?
Jeremy is somewhat right about, you know, state law enforcement's obligations. So they don't have the right to.
Hold on. He was talking about this. And he was talking about. Let's see, 3 minutes ago. Sideline. Hey, buddy, bud. Hey, what you doing, buddy?